Hi, today I'm going to play with the Too Faced Peach Palette, Sweet Peach. The Too Faced Sweet Peach Palette. It's going to be my very first time to ever play with this palette. This palette has been around for so long that it has now even become a retired collection. That's right, Too Faced recently retired this collection. I had this palette in my stash for many, many, many months, brand new, unused, well before that even happened. I have yet to play with it. So today is the day we're gonna jump into this palette. So let's go ahead and get into it, because I've heard a lot of people really, really, really like this palette. I've tried to get myself to use it a couple of times in the past. For whatever reason, I'm just not very drawn to it. I don't see what all the hype is about, but I hope that I'm about to find out today. So let me get my eyes primed with my MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre, which I need to get a different shade for me now because I'm getting a bit of a tan going, but I'm currently still using the Soft Ochre. So let me get my eyes primed and then we'll get into the palette. Okay, my eyes are primed to perfection. Let's get into the Sweet Peach palette. My palette smells delicious. Here's the palette. I think the reason why I wasn't that drawn to it in the past is because the purples aren't really quite purple enough for my preference. And I hadn't really been into greens, like these soft, dusty greens in the past. Now that I've had some experience with Natasha Denona greens in these shades, I'm kind of curious to see, am I going to enjoy the ones from Too Faced? So let's see what kind of a look I can create. And I think I'm going to create two different looks and just see what I think about the palette. Okay, I'm going to do a, I'm going to start off with this crease shade here. Just on this first eye over here. I want to do a little bit of a neutral look and just see what I think of how the shadows perform. Now keep in mind, I have not set my eyeshadow base. I never set my eyeshadow base. Sometimes I will let it sit on its own, like I'll take a little bit too long before I start doing my look and it will kind of overset, but I never set it with a powder deliberately because I want my shadows to stick. I want them to be like full pigment opacity. Yeah, so anyway, hold on one moment. So my palette isn't exactly, like my palette is brand new, but it's kind of old. It's not exactly like a fresh palette. I think I got it from Too Faced on clearance a good while back. Where's the brush I was just now using? Was it this one? No. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Go that way, please. You can't come back in here. No. What are you doing? Anyway, so my palette isn't exactly like fresh. I got it from Too Faced probably a year ago, and it was on clearance at that time, but that was long before they clearanced it out. Okay, so there's a really beautiful brown. I want to go ahead and add like some of the purple to this other side before my eyeshadow base sets too long. So I am going to create two different looks like I mentioned, but let me just go ahead and start getting my shadow placed over here. Ooh, that is a really beautiful, bold purple. Why wasn't I attracted to that purple before? That's really pretty. Where's my Singe Beauty brush? There it is. Okay. I'm going to blend it out with my big fluffy blender from Singe Beauty. I just want to soften that up a little bit, like not too much. I don't want to lose too much of that richness, but I just want to soften it up so it doesn't look so freshly placed down. That's really beautiful. That's a really pretty purple. All right. I'm going to take a little bit more of that purple and just build it down this way. And for the lower lash line, I think I'm going to do a different shade altogether. Let me now work on this other side. Like, it's probably confusing that I'm doing two eyes at once, but like, I'm just going to jump all over the place and you can watch it come together or not. Like, it's up to you. Anyway. Okay, so for the brown side, I'm now going to, I want to see what this dark green here is all about. It looks more green. It actually comes off more green on the screen than it looks in person. And so because of that, I really want to see, am I going to get, like, is it going to show up green on me? Let's see. I'm going to put it out here in the outer corner. Ooh, that's a really like snake kind of a reptilian kind of a green. Really dark and rich. Wow. That might even be more like, it's called tempting. Yeah, that's like exotic kind of. Oh, fuck. Did you see that? I just smeared the fallout onto my concealer, which is a huge no-no. Gonna have to fix that. Lots of fallout, girl. Okay. Well, it's a little better now. It's not the best. All right. So I don't know if that's because I didn't tap my brush off very much or if I overloaded it or whatever, but yeah, so I was able to kind of fix that a little bit. So there's where we're at so far with that dark green side. I do want to see what this light green does, and I'm going to take it on an E55 from Sigma. Maybe it's not the best brush for me to use, but it's the one that I grabbed, so let's just see what it does. That's pretty light. Okay, so like that's a neutral green eye look, which I feel like I've been getting a lot of palettes lately that give me that look, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so now I want to take this little shader brush and I'm going to go into this like light pink peach, and I just want to add this. I'm actually choking on the scent. I'm starting to choke on the scent of this palette. Like it's overly scented for me. This is the first Too Faced palette that I've ever like choked on out of all the ones that I've tried so far. So anyway, okay, maybe the pink into the brown wasn't like, I mean, it's okay, but it wasn't like the best. I'm gonna now pick up some of the peach with that same brush and just try to turn this brown a little bit more into a peach. Just here at the front. That's kind of fun. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to take a little pencil brush into this shimmery, soft, like pale butter yellow, soft peach. I'm just going to hit the brow bone for a little bit of brightness right there and right there. That wasn't light enough. Let's try the white and see what happens. I don't know if that's like a matte or a satin. Can't tell, but let's just see what kind of a brightening we can get. Let me try a denser brush. Like I might have too many shades already built up in that corner. But yeah, that brush helped a little bit. Okay, So that eye is done. And I feel like I just want to give it a nice little like all over blend to kind of bring it together. And then for the lower lash line on that eye, I want to use this deep brown, and I want to just keep it simple. Just close out the eye, a nice little neutral bottom. That's the eye for that one. Now let me get back to the purple one. Okay. I'm gonna take this shader brush. This is an E54. And I'm gonna try this really pale pink right here. Let's just see. I can't tell if that's a matte or a satin, but let's just see what we can get by packing it here on the front of the lid. Like, it's okay, but it's not what I was hoping for. So let's try that pink again up here. And let's just pack that on the lid. I mean, that's okay. All right, I feel like I'm over that attempt. Let's go a totally different direction, and I'm gonna try to just take it into this like really pretty taupe shade. I feel like that taupe with the purple, if I wouldn't have put all those pinks underneath, would be really, really pretty to soften up that purple look a bit. That's a really beautiful taupe shade. See that? That's like really pretty and soft, like everyday wearable. Okay, and then I'm gonna take this really dark purple shimmer just because I want to see what it looks like. And I'm gonna just smoke out this like bottom edge and bring it down. This is just an empty brush. I want to take something to soften it up without like distracting the color, and I feel like this pink didn't really do anything, so maybe it'll just add a little bit of a brightening effect right here and soften the purple. Yeah. All right. I do feel like, although I liked the way this eye started off, it got a little boring. Like, I feel like I went with the wrong lid color, and had I stuck with like, sorry, I was wiping my brush. Had I stuck with like more of the purple and taupes and forgotten the peach altogether, I feel like I would have liked this eye look a little bit more, but it's okay. And surprisingly, I really like this eye look a lot. I'm really surprised by the range that I got out of this palette. Let me see. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 18 shades in the palette. Let me count how many I used.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
I used like 12 or 13 shades. I'm not sure. I lost track. Anyway, yeah, I think I can see why everybody likes this palette so much. Also, just for fun, now that we've seen the looks, I'm just gonna take this really dark look over the purple, and let's just see how like crazy swampy we can get this eye. That was my dog. Ooh, that's kind of fun. Yeah, I think I like that more. No, I've got a dark finger. Anyway, let me add some finishing touches, eyeliner and mascara, and I'll come back to wrap up my final thoughts and let you know whether or not I feel like I wasted my $20 on this palette. Okay, so I do still have a little bit of that fallout. I guess I could have like tried to clean it up because I didn't. Hold on. Okay, friends, here are the final 2 looks with the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette for my first impressions. And I have to say, I'm a little bit surprised that I got such dark, smoky, dramatic looks with this palette. Even though I do see the dark shades in here and I did expect them to be pigmented, I didn't expect the lighter shades to be so non-impactful that I would end up with such depth overall and not enough contrast to balance it and lighten it out, because these light shades are just a little bit too dusty and they're just like not enough to work on my eye. I don't know. This is just my first time to play with the palette though. It might have also been like user error, you know. I will play with this palette a few more times before I end up ranking it for my monthly palettes ranking. Sorry if you heard my dog snorkel in the background. I will use this palette a few more times to give it a fair go before I end up doing my monthly palette ranking, where I do rank all the palettes that I have tested out recently, whether they're old or new. And yeah, so I will give this a better go just so I can make sure that I like really develop my thoughts on the palette other than this first impressions. But overall, I did have fun playing with the palette. I do really like the smoky, dramatic looks that I got with the palette, and I'm happy to have the palette in my collection. I'm pretty sure that I would feel highly disappointed had I paid full price for this palette, so I'm really, really glad that I got this for, I think it was like, honestly, I think it was like $18 or $20 at the most. And it came with some freebies because I got it from the Too Faced website. So I am really, really glad that I got it for such a good price. That does make me enjoy it a lot more. But yeah, overall, I think I can see why, for the most part, this was a coveted favorite amongst many, because these deep, darker shades really are impactful. And Too Faced is usually known for a lot of a little bit more of a lighter color story. So I feel like this palette here kind of gave it a little bit more like depth of range than I was expecting. So that was pretty fun to, so that made it fun to play with. But anyway, yeah, so let me know, do you have this palette? Have you already decluttered this palette? I'm really late to the party. I'm really late to the palette party on this one. I know this one has been out for years and years and years. But yeah, this was my first impressions, and I'm really glad that I finally had the chance to play with it. Wait, let me rephrase that. I'm really glad that I finally took the chance to play with it, because it's literally been sitting here in my collection for, I don't even want to admit how many months. But yeah, it even actually almost got decluttered one time, but I hadn't used it yet. So I'm glad that I kept it around and gave it a shot, because I really did enjoy it. So yeah, I'd love to know what you think of this palette. Be sure to share your thoughts with me down below in the comment section. I look forward to reading your thoughts there. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to click the thumbs up. It really does help my channel out so much. And make sure that you're subscribed so that we can hang out again. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!